Hello, welcome everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Chrissy and today I'll be giving you a prediction reading for the 8th of October. Now if you are new, please subscribe, hit the bell notification so you know my videos pop up. And for everybody else, I hope you're going really well. It's Saturday morning here, so I'm guessing it's the weekend wherever you guys are. It might be Friday night, I'm not sure. I get muddled up with all the times. We're always out of whack, aren't we all? So I'll just close my eyes, we'll get started and we'll see what comes up. Oh, I'm getting sizzling. I'm getting sizzling in the frying pan. They're showing me bacon and eggs being cooked in the frying pan. And this means things are heating up. Things are getting sizzled. There's this sizzling energy, which might mean there might be a few heated debates, heated exchanges, and that's not a bad thing. And it's not about us. This is more about debate amongst, I feel it would be more about... this would be more in Parliament. This would be more like opposition leaders arguing with the current leaders. There would be people pushing back. This is what I'm getting about this sizzling energy. Sizzling meaning things are starting to heat up. The debates are starting to happen. And this is great. This is what we need. We need this debating. Because as we've known here, sorry, for a few years, it's all been a one-sided narrative. But we never got to hear the other side of the argument. So there's this debate starting to happen. So I'm getting that real sizzling of the bacon and the eggs in the fry pan. That's what I'm getting. Things are heating up. Let's see where else we go. Now they're showing me that like a marketplace, and they're showing me this like bartering system. Now they're showing me like market stalls, and if you think of some of these countries, I know a lot of you have probably travelled out there to places where they barter. So when you're trying to, for example, buy a souvenir or something, if you're on holidays, they'll barter with you. It's all about this little cash exchange. And these are the kind of images they're showing me now, is like, well, how's this all going to work when we've got no cash? And everyone's having to use like the FPOS machine. There's going to be like, the bartering's kind of not going to be there, that exchange. It's showing me that old-fashioned way of bartering with your money and getting the discounts. And this is what they're saying. Everything's going to start to become, if we move forward with this system, it's going to become like set pricing. It's all not going to be negotiable. And that's the other thing as well. They're talking about the tipping. There's a lot of things that aren't going to work in the, well, as we know, the cashless society. You know, when do the tips come into it? A lot of people in Europe and these places rely on their tips. I know a lot of the Indonesian countries too. It's going to make it a lot trickier to navigate for these people, because they're going to have to include that into the bill. So this is where it's going to become a little bit trickier to navigate if we do go down, which we pretty much are going to, the cashless society. They're showing me these kind of simple exchanges and now going to become, I guess you could say, obsolete and challenging. But as we all knew here, it was always about wiping out the little people, wasn't it? So no surprises to us that they're showing us images of that, because those sort of things aren't going to exist anymore. It's showing me like the it's showing me like a vision of, for example, these tourism streets where the market stalls and all that are just going to become obsolete. And it's showing me like the cobwebs growing on the little awnings that are usually over the little stalls and things. It's just showing cobwebs and that it's all closed down and there's nobody there. So it becomes like a ghost town. So this is the kind of thing that's going to start to get wiped out. And it could even be the tipping as well, for example. That's just going to become a standard amount. So that's what you add 10% onto your bill or 20% or whatever you do. And that'll just get clicked into your Visa card or whatever. And so at the end of the day, pretty much the people working and the little people aren't going to, as we know, get that back into their wages. So that's something that's going to become a bit of an issue as well for a lot of people, because I know a lot of people, particularly like uni students and people like that, rely on their tips, don't they? So this is kind of going to become a global issue as well. So they're kind of a couple of things that they're just putting into our minds of what happens when you go down this cashless society. Hang on, let's see where else we go. Now we talked the other day about that quote about the building back better, which none of us here on my channel can hardly cope with saying. But this building back better, it's not... they keep using it like on mainstream media and all this sort of thing, but it's not making sense to people, because people are kind of thinking, well, why are we building back better? What was wrong with what we had before? Like, some people in their minds realistically think that, yes, the renewables is a great way to, and direction that we probably need to go in. But people are confused about the building back better quote, because they're not understanding why their whole life has to be built back better, and who's saying that this will make it better. So this is where they're very confused, like all of us were, because we knew it was all BS and garbage and rubbish. But these people now are starting to sort of hear that quote a lot, that build back better. And of course, you can't blame everything around the pandemic, and that's where people's logic is starting to kick in. Like I keep saying to you, they're not in the mass psychosis for everything else. They still are, probably a lot of them, for the jab wheel. A lot have got off and a lot is waking up to this stuff, but they still really are in that heavy narrative around the CV virus. So it's always something I warn you about to be very careful of. But the build back better ain't making any sense to anyone. Well, that's good. It's not just us it's not making sense to. Hang on a sec. God, they're showing me this image of the elite towers. I always talk about the elite towers and how they're up in their penthouses and they're building their wealth and they're looking down on all the little people and peasants, which I call us. And they're showing me this domino effect of the towers collapsing. Oh, wouldn't that be brilliant? So I'm getting this image of once one of the towers collapses, it hits the other one, and then another one, and another one, and another one, and another one, and they all start to collapse. So this is the image that the guides have given me. If we can just get one tower to collapse and like be exposed, then that'll knock down the other towers. So and the guides are saying that this is not impossible to do. We know that they think they're untouchable up in their big penthouses and their towers, but they're not. They're still saying to me that their narrative is very shaky and it's still on really like rocky ground, meaning it's still, as I always have said here, it doesn't have that good foundation underneath, and that is the support of the people, meaning the support of the people. So it's still on shaky ground. So that's the image that I'm getting at the moment for these global elites. Hang on. Well, and the guides, this is for us, and probably for us and all the people waking up. It's saying to really hang on to your little boats now, because like we know we're flying sort of downstream and we're navigating these rapids really well. We have for 3 years. Anyone who's on my channel, we've been through the ups and downs, but they're telling us, and we're exhausted, yes we are, they're telling us to hang on to the sides of the boat now, because we're in for a bit of a turbulent time that's coming towards Christmas. So we already know that, like we're already hanging on. It's almost saying to us that we've got the smarts now, that we've also seat belted ourselves in. So we're not going to fly out of our little rafts or anything. We've got all our safety like equipment, our vests are on. But it's showing these people waking up. They're still being thrown out of their whitewater raft, I guess you could say, and they're nearly drowning. It's showing me them hanging on like to their oar, and they're hanging onto the side of the boat trying to get back into their rafts. They're really struggling, and this is going to be leading up to Christmas. There's some really turbulent times coming, obviously financially, interest rate rises, housing costs dropping, fuel prices, you name it, the whole lot. There's nothing that's going to go untouched. We know that. And leading up to Christmas, worst time of year you could do that to people. It's quite cruel, really. But it's showing me, I talked about yesterday in that we're quite protected. So it's because we see things coming, we prepare ourselves. So they're showing me we've got our life vests zipped up, we're seat belted into our raft, and we're holding the sides. So we're actually quite stable. So I feel like this is for you guys watching my channel leading up to Christmas. We're feeling quite stable. We're prepared. Most of us have probably prepared about Christmas, and we've already organised a lot of things. We're fairly organised people as well. That's what the guides are saying. So we're going to navigate these next few months really quite well. I talked about this the other day, actually, how we're like these Olympic whitewater rafters that have trained, and now we're just navigating now the obstacles. And we have had a lot of training in the last 3 years, so I'm still getting that, but I'm getting that the people waking up, these are going to be really turbulent times for them. They're going to feel like they're nearly drowning, and they're only just hanging onto their oar, and they've got one arm, it's sort of back in the raft, and they're still flying along over the rocks and the meandering kind of stream, and they don't know where it's taking them. I'm still getting that. See, because we feel like we're in control of our path now, this is you watching my channel, it feels like we know where we're headed. So we know we're not just going to nowhere, but these people who are half hanging onto the raft and trying to maintain stability and not drown, they still don't know where they're headed. So they feel like, God, is this stream, turbulent stream, taking me to like a waterfall? It's again that Niagara Falls image. They don't know if they're going to just be dropped and killed, or it's that feeling of the unknown, and the fear and anxiety is still really rising up in these people. Not us, because we feel like we're on these calm waters now, and we could just, if we wanted to, we could just paddle over to the edge of the water and pull our boat up on the shore, and we feel like we have control now of our life. And I really believe that's true. I feel like because we've found ways clear of those ridiculous feelings of fear, anxieties, hurts, all these kind of emotions, it's put us into calmer waters, which is that calmer feeling and that more centered place of, as a lot of us here have learnt, to live in the now and to focus on the things we really want to achieve and where we're going, and setting our goals and knowing that we're taken care of as well. And I think that's a comforting feeling as well, that the guides kind of keep reiterating to us. I'm not saying our lives are always going to be perfect and everything's wonderful, because that's not what life is. We learn from things, you know. We have to have things happen in order to learn from them and grow. I did say we're going to have this big expanded period in the next few months. So I am getting that we do feel very stable. So they're the images that I'm getting. But the people waking up are still feeling like they don't know where they're going. And that's not a nice feeling, is it? Hang on a second. Oh, I'm getting Chicago. I'm getting this song, and you guys probably remember it. It's from the 80s again. I'm pretty sure it's from the 80s. It's called The Night Chicago Died. The night Chicago died. Never what it really was. Glory be. It's a song. Maybe look it up. I'm sure it's called The Night Chicago Died. Whatever's happening in Chicago, there's a lot of changes there. I do feel like Chicago's dying. It's transitioning into the new. So there's a lot of shifts happening in Chicago. I'm definitely getting that. Yeah, I'm getting that. Chicago's in America, isn't it? I'm not sure which part, but I am getting The Night Chicago Died, meaning you're going through a very big transition at the moment. They might be implementing quite a lot of things there. I am getting Chicago. Let's see where else we get. Oh, of course, I'm getting Florida. And we all know how well Florida navigated the CV virus. It was absolutely brilliant. Is it DeSantis there? He's absolutely incredible, isn't he? He just never stomped on the people at all. And all the funniest part was all the elites and all the well-to-dos were always going there for holidays during the CV virus, of course. But I am getting that they're trying to send Florida downstream. This is the elites. And that these are the global leaders and all that. They'd love to see Florida just float downstream. And they're trying to, I think, well, they had a big hurricane there at the moment, just saying. I'm not sure if there has been weather manipulation. It seems kind of interesting. I know Florida can get that kind of weather though sometimes, but they would love to see, and this is not necessarily in reality, this is just an image. They would love to see Florida just float away and head over Niagara Falls, because they'd love it to just go away. Because see, Florida, so many people moved to Florida, didn't they, during all of this? And he's so funny, isn't he? He's handled the whole immigrants and all that. There's been a lot going on over there in Florida, so I am getting like Florida. I'm just getting that, yeah, Florida's like, these elites wish it would go away. Basically, they wish because he proved so many things of the narrative. He proved it incorrect. And that's what these elites don't want people to keep finding out and seeing, especially on a global stage. I know in America, you guys would be fully aware of it. And look, a lot of us, people who are awake, are aware of it. But the people who are waking up probably aren't aware of it. So this is what I'm getting. They'd love it to just Florida, the whole image, story, dissenters, all that. They'd love it to just float away and go over Niagara Falls and be gone for good, because it's a big I guess you could say it puts a big spotlight on the narrative and how it was all BS and lies, because Florida highlighted all that. So I am getting Florida today. It's pretty funny, isn't it? Hang on a sec. Oh, I'm getting England again. England's trying to really hold the stage. They're showing me like England, and they are loving, and we know they do because their egos are so big. They really wanting to hold the stage, and they're showing me like, we know Liz Truss has been meeting with Macron from France, and they're showing me like, and we've still got Harry and Meghan in the background, and William and Kate are doing such a wonderful job. So I'm feeling like England, London, this whole like royal government event, it is up on stage at the moment, and they're loving that position. They're loving that the world has eyes on them, because we know on this channel that the royals don't want to lose that power and that strength they have at the moment. So they're really trying to push all of this forward. They're showing me actually that that Charles is actually pulling the curtains. So he's pulling the curtains back. He's pulling the strings, as we know, and pulling the curtains back so everyone can see like the royal pageantry and the government leaders and how wonderful England and Britain and all this is doing. The UK. This is what I'm getting. They like that the spotlight's on them at the moment, and they're like, it's not really running the show. In their mind, they're running the show, but they don't want to be hidden. We know that a lot of countries, God, even Australia, they talked about getting rid of the royals, but the royals don't want that to happen. They want to have that global strength. So they're loving the fact that this is a show, and they're up on stage at the moment, and it's like it's their turn. And of course, Charles is like hiding behind the curtains but pulling the strings. That's what I'm getting for... Hang on a sec. Let's see if there's something else today. And it's saying like people in the audience of this British UK show, the audience is like dead silent. There's like no one clapping. Everyone's just sitting looking at the stage. And it's like I said probably yesterday, they're still in shock, or they're at that red stoplight, traffic light, because people aren't sure what to do next. So they're all just sitting in silence, staring at this stage performance and show. Yet another show. We're very good at watching show. They're not even eating popcorn. They're not even engaging in like anything. They're just sitting there like lifeless dummies is what they're showing me. No offense to anyone living over there. I know if you're watching my video, that's not you. But they're sitting there just like lifeless dummies, just going, what's happening? It's kind of like this energy, like, what's happening? Where's our life going? Why are you doing this to us? And it's like they're waiting for the show to unfold, to tell the story. But the thing is, what they're saying is these people on stage, like Liz Truss, Harry and Meghan and Kate and Will and all these people, there like is no story. It's not going anywhere. It's like a really badly written scripted movie. That's, you know how you go and see a really bad movie where it's got no great storyline, it's not captivating. Well, that's what I'm getting for these people. They're just looking like blankly at the stage and just sitting there like dummies, and they're not reacting, they're not clapping, they're not sighing, they're just like this. Oh, it's ridiculous, isn't it? If only they knew what was happening. So I'm getting that. That's what I'm getting for these people over there. They're lost in the equation. They're just lost. And again, it comes back to that. But the Queen just died, and what's going on? So that's what I'm getting over there. See, they're not getting given good direction, and I think that's why people are feeling lost, and they're at that kind of stop light rather, because there's no clear direction. They don't know what direction to take. What do they do next? Should they do this? Should they buy a house? Should they not buy a house? Should they get an electric car? See, this, you've been hit hard. You've been hit hard, and it's very confusing for people over there. I am getting that for those areas. It's not easy. So they're just sitting there like dummies. Not you guys, not if you're watching my channel. You're already awake, so you know what's going on. I'll just see what else we get today. Hang on a minute. Yeah, they're showing me these leaders, all these elites. They're opening their suitcases. We know they're doing lots of travelling at the moment. They're here, there and everywhere, and they're all connecting and doing their little meetings and coming together. But it's showing me them unfolding their clothing out of their suitcase, and it's all very proper and pristine. It's folded perfectly, and they're very, very organised. So these global elites and these leaders who are trying to take over the world, they're very, very organised. Their luggage is always packed, and it's very organised. Everything is getting sort of folded now and packed in, and it's all very perfect. They're showing me like the suitcase is the exact weight. The clothes don't have creases in them. So these global elites, and this is what the guys are trying to say, they're getting much, much smarter with their agenda. And like I said to you yesterday, they've done a lot of research. I feel they've been doing a lot of research on what works with people, what doesn't work with people, what do people want to hear, what answers are people looking for. They're getting very smart. It wouldn't even surprise me if they're actually using like proper, we know they're very good at mind manipulation, but I do feel they're using like psychologists to work on people's thinking and what people want to hear to make them, as we know, comply again. But they're using different methods. It's not the mass psychosis. It's different methods. It's the trickery of the wording and you know, I've always said that even with this renewables and things like that, it's always going to be, are you like putting the electric plug in, and are you making a difference to your environment? Are you, so there's a lot of that, are you helping your family and friends? Are you, that they're focusing on the individual. So I do feel like there's a lot of this psychological sort of manipulation. Nothing new to us, is it? We probably don't even hear it. For some reason we don't. It's really weird. My husband and I were talking about that the other night. We said, it's so weird how we just never fell for that mass psychosis. If anyone's got any tips out there of why that might be, I think it'd be nice to hear all our different theories, because, you know, I believe that a lot of us had been through trauma or depression or dark nights of the soul and different things like that, and we were already awake. So yes, anyway, let us know down below anyone's got a theory on that. But I do feel that's what they're doing. They're really, you know, always got their luggage packed, and everything's kind of getting really organized now, and that's what they're showing me for these global elites. See, when they first came out and hit everybody too hard, it was just like they threw all the dirty laundry on everybody, like I said. But now they're coming at this from a much more organised perspective. And I actually think now they've put each other on the same page, because before they were doing things at different times and rolling things out. And that's when the world, that's when people started to focus on the different things, and people, it highlighted to other parts of the world what was going on in Canada, what was going on in Netherlands. Well, hang on, what's Jacinda Ardern doing in New Zealand? But now they're trying to smooth it over so that everything's rolling out together. It's so frustrating, isn't it? Hang on a sec. Look, times are going to get really tough now. Times are going to get tough till Christmas. Even further beyond Christmas. We know that here. We're not stupid. people are really struggling now. They really are. It's even showing me, this is how stupid people are getting. Instead of using their dishwashers and things like that, it's showing me them like wiping up, like just washing and wiping up because they're too scared of using power. Like, this is the kind of crap that these government leaders are feeding to people. Like, we know people in obviously the colder climates now where you guys are coming into winter, they're having to cut down their electricity and their power. But this is what they're showing me. People are getting so fearful and worried about it. They're even like not using their dishwashers and all this. They're like unplugging things from walls. And it's all lies and garbage, isn't it? It's incredible. So that's the kind of thing. People are like skimping on things now, and they're trying to be more aware of everything and helping their environment. They could feed these people anything and they just believe it, don't they? It's unreal. Hang on a sec. Yeah, they're showing me like the bow and arrow and how these elites have got their bow and arrow and they're hitting their target and they're trying to get bullseyes every time. But again, it's using the mind manipulation. See if they can get to the actual bullseye target, then they can actually get to the center like of people's minds and manipulate them. God, they work hard at this. They really do. Look how much they work with the algorithms. It's absolutely crazy, isn't it? I'll see if there's something to close with today. Oh, yeah, I'm just getting mind games. There's a song called is it by John Lennon? Mind Games Forever? Mind Games. I'm sure it's John Lennon. Let's go look that up because that's the song we're getting today. This is all about mind games and manipulation, which we know they're the masters of. So that's what I'm going to leave you with today. Let's go check out that song, Mind Games, by, I'm positive it's John Lennon, and is it Yoko Ono in that film clip? I'm not sure. But anyway, let's go check that out. But that's what they're working on at the moment, the mind games and how to manipulate everybody, maybe not us. And I'll say goodbye from Australia. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Have a wonderful weekend, everybody. The sun's out here. I can't believe it. Probably only for the morning because we're expecting rain. And I'll say goodbye from Australia. Take care. Hit the like buttons. Comment down below and I'll talk to you soon. Bye, everyone. Bye.